Senator Billy Hewes. Billy, if you could come forward, please. Good afternoon. How's everybody? I'm Billy Hewes, and I am running for Lieutenant Governor, and I know, like most of the candidates, we are glad Tuesday is just a few days away. But it's been a good, long, hot summer. It's been a pretty hot campaign trail, and for Paula and I, it's been a family affair. And my children, two of my children, Sarah, Margaret, and Sam, are here with us today, and they've been real troopers going through the entire process. And some of y'all may have heard the story, but Sam, earlier this year, he said, Daddy, if you go sign me up for a summer camp, I said, we got you signed up for a camp already. He said, what is it? And I said, it's a campaign. I said, you know, it's got the word camp in it. He said, yeah, Dad, it's got the word pain in it, too. So he had it right, but it has really been a great experience, and we feel like we're poised for victory on Tuesday. And I'd like to ask each and every one of you for your vote. Paul and I grew up here on the coast. We've chosen to raise our kids here on the coast, and I've had the privilege of representing your interests for 20 years in Jackson. And I wanted to do some things differently with this lieutenant governor's race, and start out talking about not just what Mississippi needed, but make sure we were listening. And what Paul and I found on the campaign trail is that people want today what they've wanted pretty basically for a long time. Lower taxes, less government intervention in their lives, better opportunity, better jobs. Speaking of better jobs, something that, the private sector does things a lot better than the government ever could, and that's what it ought to be. And we had that proven in Hurricane Katrina. But there's one private sector group that I think everybody out here is proud to know that is going to be coming online. I just learned from a friend that there's going to be a new Edge drive-in. It's going to be breaking ground next week, so that's very important here in this community. We could use some ice cream today, I tell you. But in listening to folks and finding out what's important to them and what the needs are, I thought we needed to talk very specific issues. So a few weeks ago, I introduced my game plan for Mississippi. And the game plan doesn't talk about generalities, and a lot of politicians just talk about, well, just the things I said. We want better education for our kids, more opportunity, better jobs. Those are great. But how do you get there? And I will put something out that's online, you can check it out, that has a very specific measure for each one. The first thing I want to do is get rid of our state's inventory tax. That's something, lower taxes right off the bat. If you're in retail, if you're a manufacturer, if you're a lumber yard, you pay inventory tax. We're one of 9 states, and we're at a competitive disadvantage. We need that off the books. A lady in Hattiesburg told me the other day, if you pass that today, I'll hire 2 people tomorrow. You multiply that across, we'll get some people hired, we'll get them going. Speaking of getting people hired, part of my plan that I introduced was just the requirement that if hardworking folks are drug tested at work, that if they're going to get welfare or unemployment, they need to be drug tested as well, and if they can't pass it, they don't get the benefits. It's pretty simple. I had a manufacturer tell me the other day, he said, Billy, I had to interview 12 people off the unemployment line that could get 2 to pass the test. That's bad, that's a problem. And Mississippi has a responsibility. If we're going to get taxpayers' money to help people out and lift them up, we need to make sure they're not using that money to pay for drugs. It's pretty simple. In education, we need to make sure that we have a straightforward dual-track diploma system where we can not only, those kids that aren't going to college, that they have a clear track, and that when they get out of high school, that shingle means something, that they've got a skill, and they can go to work right off the bat. I'm very clear about that. As there was misinformation about consolidation, what I've been talking about is paying our teachers better, putting more money into the classroom, and that is to make sure that we're not too administratively fat. I'm not talking about consolidating school districts, but I am talking about doing what the military has done with shared services and combining functions like administration, like payroll, like accounting, like transportation. Those are things that we can do and free up some monies and, again, put it right in the classroom and pay our teachers better. So I'm all for that. But people ask, what's the difference in the race? Was that the bell? I think I'm over. No, it's not the bell? Okay. The difference in this race is going to come down to experience. I have a reputation and earned the highest conservative legislative ranking that anybody can have from 2 groups, from a number of groups, but 2 groups I want you to understand. Y'all heard of NFIB, National Federation of Independent Business? That's small business. Well, I'm a small businessman. I've had an insurance and real estate agency for over 20 years. Well, they gave me the highest rating of any legislator that has any length of service. I'm very proud of that. You don't get that by accident. You don't get that by adopting bad policy. You get that by being business friendly, keeping costs low, keeping reins on spending, and keeping taxes down. I want to continue that. The Business and Insurance Political Education Committee, that's BIPAC, that's all the business interests in the state. Every single year, not just this last year, I'm not a Johnny-come-lately, every single year I've gotten a business champion rating, and let me tell you, I'm proud of that rating because I've been standing up for you. Paul and I know what you're dealing with. We're raising 4 children, putting a couple through college. We've had to make ends meet and live within our means. I've done that in my business, creating jobs in the private sector. I know how to do it, and again, I've got the history there. I'm proud to have represented your interests. I think if you ask me, what kind of lieutenant governor would you be? I'll be the type that you can count on to adopt good policy, to make sure that the Senate runs properly and we adopt good conservative policy and kill liberal agendas, and the type who will conduct himself in a manner that will make you proud and bring dignity to the office. I'm Billy Hewes, running for lieutenant governor. Please vote for me on Tuesday in the Republican primary.